The concept of seeing apparitions is scary enough, but a disembodied soul appearing to a living eye, almost unintentionally, is terrifying. Here's 3 stories in situations which ghosts eerily materialized. By Reddit user The Space Walrus. When I was younger, my family would regularly go on vacation to see motorcycle races. I was around 8 or 9 when we went to see a particular race in northern Ohio. It was really hot that summer and my Game Boy was dead, so I had nothing to do but sit and watch the races. My family was sitting on some old shitty bleachers that you would normally see at a baseball field, and my ass was getting sore. So, when I was fidgeting around in an attempt to find a comfortable position, I noticed a little girl laying under the bleachers. I didn't see anything out of place other than the fact that she looked really pale and had blue lips. The grass around her seemed to be stained blue as well, like someone had poured a blue slushy on the ground and she was laying on it. I asked my dad why she was laying down there, but neither he nor my family could see her. I kept glancing down at her throughout the race, but she never moved. When the races were over and we were on our way to the car, I checked under the bleachers for her, but there wasn't any sign that she had been there. I'm not a superstitious person and I don't believe in ghosts, but I remember this happening vividly, and I can't explain it. I can still see her pale face looking up at me from between the bleachers to this day. By Reddit user MDB2408. My parents were on their honeymoon to Key West. When they arrived at the hotel to check in, they were told that the room would be non-smoking. With my dad being a smoker, they requested a different room. They got the room switch and went to their room. As they got off the elevator, the smell of fresh paint was overwhelming. Down the hall there was a painter with all necessary supplies laid out around him and was painting the wall. As my parents walked past him, they casually greeted him, and the painter had absolutely no acknowledgement of their presence. Whatever. When they got to their room, the smell of paint was even worse in there, so bad it wasn't even bearable, so they decided to go to the front desk to change rooms. When they explained the situation, the attendant looked very confused and informed them that there wasn't a scheduled paint job on that floor for that day, but agreed to change their room. My parents go back to their floor to grab their luggage and the painter is completely gone. All supplies cleaned up and gone within 10 minutes, and the smell of paint was completely gone. At this point my parents were freaked out, but didn't think much of it and went to their new room. The next morning on their way to breakfast, they overhear a tour guide talking to a group. My parents tuned in when the guide mentioned the floor that they were originally supposed to stay on. Apparently a long time ago there was a painter on that floor, painting, and fell down the elevator shaft to his death. Now my parents don't normally believe in the paranormal, but after an event like this, that they had no explanation for it, freaked them out a good bit. By Reddit user Pizzaplus Tequila. So about 4 years ago I was sleeping and woke up randomly to see a person standing next to my bed. This person was clearly female, but very petite, perhaps a teenager or just tiny in stature. She was facing away from me and had her shoulder cocked up to her cheek, like the way you sometimes see people holding phones. Her hair was in a low ponytail. There was nothing surreal or ghostly about her. She appeared exactly as you would imagine a person would if you were to waken in a dark room, somewhat illuminated by moonlight. There was no mistaking the fact that someone else was standing only a couple feet away from my bed. I jolted upright immediately. Shock is putting it mildly. I remember my heart was pounding. The worst part about it was, she heard me sit up and reacted, turning her crooked head around to face me, as if equally surprised to see me as I was her. I was so scared I actually closed my eyes, like they do in the movies, thinking that when I opened them, she would be gone, and I could chalk it up to some kind of half-dreaming state. Nope. She was still there, staring at me. I started to fumble for the lamp on my nightstand. It felt like goddamn forever. I couldn't take my eyes off her. I was so nervous that the noise would further prompt her to come towards me, or something. When I finally switched it on, she was gone. I called my boyfriend, hysterically crying and begging him to come over. He refused and said I hadn't actually seen what I thought I had seen. I slept with the light on for 3 entire weeks. I was so scared. I remember I told my mom the next day and she advised me to search every closet in my apartment for squatters, which is perhaps even more terrifying than a ghost appearance. Thanks, Mom.